Good tease, NXT. Good tease. Hello all MRBers and welcome to another video with me, Mike McRock, one half of the MRB Wrestling Review Show. Right now I'm going to get into the NXT review this week, and we kick it off with a really good video package from NXT TakeOver Unstoppable. You know, it was really cool. It had that slow motion effect to it. It was just extremely well done. And the WWE really doesn't get enough credit with their video packages, but now they're really starting to. So I really dug how they kicked off the show before the intro, let the war of the crowd and stuff like that. I really like that video package that they done. And they kicked it off this week with Kevin Owens coming out, cutting a really good promo this week. How he talks about that he's a really good person, how he provides for his family, and that people have to fight and earn to face him for the NXT Championship. I like it. To me, the best villains are the villains that don't think that they are villains, and Kevin Owens doesn't think he's a bad guy, and I really like that about him. He's a really good heel. You don't really condone his actions, but you understand where he's coming from. That's the mark of a really good villain, in this case, a really good heel in Kevin Owens. And he also talked about what happened with Samoa Joe. I was kind of iffy on what he said, because he said that he wanted the fans to go home happy for not taking down Samoa Joe. And here I'm thinking, if I were Kevin Owens and his character, why would I want the fans going home happy? I would make sure that the fans go home really sad if I were Kevin Owens. That's just a little nitpick with his promo, but overall his promo was really good, really good delivery. He's to me the best heel promo speaker right now on NXT, period. And then you had William Regal come out. They talk about what happened at TakeOver when William Regal raked his eyes and Kevin Owens had to retaliate with a headbutt. And the reason why William Regal is still not firing Kevin Owens is because of what happened at that show. And it was really smart dialogue, the way that they went back and forth. It was done very well. Then you had, of all people, Solomon Crowe come out and talk about how that Kevin Owens is not a good guy at all. He's a bad guy, and he takes advantage of the opportunity when he needs to and all that stuff. And it's really taking stabs at his character as a heel. And I was quite let back and surprised that, of all people, Solomon Crowe came out, because I was expecting maybe someone like a Sami Zayn or like a Samoa Joe or someone of that nature to come out and really take stabs at Kevin Owens' character. So it was nice to see Solomon Crowe get mic time this week on the show. I think it showed a little bit of a personality with him. It's not much, but you could tell that NXT is starting to develop Solomon Crowe in some way, shape, or form. So I really like Solomon Crowe on this week's episode, despite the match, which I will get into later on the show. So we get into the first match of the show, and that was Bayley versus Emma, and Emma had Dana Brooke come out at her corner, and I was quite surprised how they ended this match. You know, I was kind of predicting that Dana Brooke would get up on the apron and cost Bayley the match, but they kind of didn't do that, so I like how they threw out a little bit of that unpredictability factor when it comes to the end result of this match, and I was quite surprised that Emma won this match clean. And with her submission hold, the Emma lock, and I like it. I like that Emma finally got a win on NXT, and it's much needed heel heat, not only with Emma, but with Dana Brooke as well. Coming off of NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, you had Charlotte come out, try to make the save for Bayley, but ended up with the short end of the stick when Dana Brooke nailed her with her finishing maneuver. So it was much needed heel heat for the heels on this week's show. It was a really heel heavy type of show, and this is a good example of the heels going over the baby faces. And Bayley really didn't need to win here. You know, part of the whole thing with Bayley is that she doesn't need to win every single match. I think sometimes the more she loses, like in this case, the more the fans will get behind her. So this is a win-win situation. Despite this just being an okay type of match, not the greatest women's match, not like last week where you had Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the title, at least this match got the point across and got much needed heel heat with the heels this week. So now we get into the tag team match on the night, and that was Blake and Murphy taking down the team of Elias Sampson and his partner. I do believe his name is Mike Rollins. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm wondering if it is Mike Rollins. I wonder if he's related to Seth Rollins in any way. I'm just wondering. Just throwing that out there. But moving on here with this tag team match, this was, okay. This was by the numbers. You can expect what to expect out of this match. Not anything special. This is basically an enhancement match to get Blake and Murphy over and also to establish that Alexa Bliss has aligned with Blake and Murphy. And I like her new attire that matches Blake and Murphy's trunks. The little things really matter. So I like that Alexa Bliss not only is the manager of this team of Blake and Murphy, the tag team champions. I like that she's not just a manager, she's not afraid to get in with the guys. They had their moment where Alexa Bliss nails a sparkle splash on Elias Sampson, I do believe. So all is well, I think, in my opinion, with the tag team champions Blake and Murphy. They're starting to grow on me a little bit because that Alexa Bliss is their new manager. And like I said in my review for TakeOver Unstoppable, to me, Blake and Murphy needed that missing piece in a hot chick, a hot woman to be their manager. I think they got it. I think they're starting to get their niche. I'm not 100% sold on them just yet, but at least with this week's episode of NXT, they're focusing more on enhancing development of their talent on their show. That's what I like about this week's show. And also I like to point out that the fans were chanting, "We want Enzo," and all that stuff. I like it. And I also like that NXT did not have Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy on the show this week, because you want to let the fans let it sink in that Blake and Murphy just beat Enzo and Kaz. So by not having them on there this week makes a whole lot of sense, because you want to establish Blake and Murphy as your tag team champs, the guys that just got the heel heat out of the fans from what happened at TakeOver Unstoppable. So like I said, this is really good when it comes to Blake and Murphy and Alexa Bliss, the new addition. I hope this continues going forth for the weeks to come. So now we get into the next match on the show, and that was Finn Balor going one-on-one with Tye Dillinger. Again, another kind of match. It is what it is. You expect Finn Balor to go over. Yeah, this was predictable all over the place. So this match really wasn't necessary to be on the show. It wasn't really needed. It really didn't serve a purpose. It was just a time filler to get to the main event on the show, basically. But at least this week, they're enhancing Finn Balor as a talent, as the #1 contender. I don't think they just done a very good job this week when it comes to booking this show and booking Finn Balor. I just don't think that this was the greatest NXT showcase for Finn Balor this week. So now we get into the main event on this week's episode of NXT. It was Kevin Owens in a non-title match going one-on-one with Solomon Crow. Now, going into this match, I wanted this match to feel different from the rest of the three matches that already happened on this week's show. What did I get? I pretty much got the exact same match. And I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of let down. I wanted Solomon Crow to get maybe just a little bit more offense in this match. Not too much, but just enough to make me say this guy could legit be a future contender for the title. But I didn't want Kevin Owens to get buried as well. So, yeah. Kevin Owens was the right to go over. However, I just wanted just a little bit more. Not too much, but just a little bit more from Solomon Crow during this match. I never really quite got that. However, what I did like, and the saving grace of the show, was the appearance of Samoa Joe and the stare down he had with Kevin Owens. I felt that this was really good. I like how they teased it this week. You know, you really didn't need both guys, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, fighting. To me, that would just give away too much. So I like how they done it. Samoa Joe comes out when Kevin Owens is already in the ring. He has the belt laid out on the mat. When Samoa Joe gets up on the apron, Kevin Owens is still there in the ring, but when Samoa Joe enters the ring in between the ropes, Kevin Owens just immediately walks out with the title. I like it. It was smart the way that they done it. It done it very, very well. Just the teasing part I really like. Even though you could say it was kind of predictable in a sense, but just because something is predictable doesn't mean it's bad. And to me, this last segment was executed very well. So overall, I liked the show this week. However, there were a lot of major issues with the show. I think it's tough that NXT tries to follow a 1 hour show after coming off of a 2 hour show. It's really, really tough to do that. I think they've done an okay job this week, but I think they can do a lot better. I think they will do a lot better in the weeks to come. And this was a very heel-heavy type of show as well. I mean, you had Finn Balor go over Solomon Crowe. You had Blake and Murphy go over in a jobber squash match. You had Emma going over Bayley and Kevin Owens getting the last word in the first segment. So this was a real heel-heavy type of show that I did like. And there was an old-school vibe. However, every single match just felt the same. So I'm going to say that NXT this week delivered 6 slamming points out of 100. If you saw this week's episode of NXT, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave those comments in the comment section below. And you can also become an MRBer by hitting that subscribe button down below this video on this wrestling review show. And on a final note, to all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.